So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Accounting and Business, right here on Money FM Radio and 3.7 FM, where we talk all things business. So, in this week's episode, we have an interesting item. We have career selection and home buying checklist. All right, I'm going to be joined by Stephanie in the next few seconds. All right, there we go. Stephanie is here. So, yeah, we go. Stephanie, good morning, and how are you?
Morning. Hi.
Indeed, fantastic, fantastic. How has been your week?
My week has been fine.
All right, so
Yes.
great. So let's get into it. So we're looking at career selection and home buying checklist, and this has been sustained by the fact that we have a lot of dysfunctional degree holders in our country, and we are seeing the reduction in value of degrees. So we're here to discuss a few things as to what has contributed to having lots and lots of dysfunctional degrees in our country, but also just to see what role have parents played when it comes to choosing careers for people, for children. But at the same time, we want to give an advice to somebody who is standing on the crossroads, trying to discover, to think what career path should they take in life, right? Especially if you're in your 30s, this is not the time to begin to gamble on your careers. You want to have a clear picture of what you want to become in life. You want to know where you want to go. So we want to differentiate, of course, what's the difference between a job and a career, and what must you look out for before you choose the career path in your life. So good morning, Stephanie, and I'm happy that you've come through. So we get into it. I want to give you a brief presentation about why this has been sustained. But of course, I want to find out from you what has been going on through the week, what has been going on through the markets. What do you have to tell us this morning?
Well, things have been okay with me. I should say it's been a beautiful week. Yesterday was good, and yeah, today is also very good. Looking forward to having a very productive week. Being the second day of the week, I should say much of the things have not yet unraveled, but it looks like a promising week.
Fantastic. So, Stephanie, before we get started, I want to ask you a question. We have a lot of dysfunctional degree orders. A lot of people with degrees are not getting employment. They're not doing any business. Lots of the youths are unemployed, and we saw the statistics from our colleague. He did a statistic which shows the levels of discouragement among the youths. Youths have been so discouraged in 2023 than they have ever been in the history of this country. So, what is your view? What has contributed to this disparity in job market when it comes to degree orders? What's your view?
Just before I get to that, last week we had a similar conversation with a friend, and he was sharing with me how very discouraged he is. Like you said, a lot of people are discouraged today, and he was discouraged because for that particular job, they told him he was very qualified. And so, we come from a country that believes in education so much, and we advise to advance. I mean, the guy did a degree, he's got a degree. Why should he be too qualified for the job? It was very disheartening, I should say. And he was broken. I mean, we've grown up knowing education is the key to success, and then we attend that education, and then you become too qualified. But just like you were saying, I think it's a very good topic to get to look at career selection and home buying checklist. But when we talk about career selection, should we begin to put red marks to certain careers? I remember when I was choosing my own career, Mr. Lusambo, I did have people from my family tell me, "You're finished. You're going to do, yeah, you're finished. Yeah, there's no way you're going to find a job.
Really?
Journalism,
Wow.
I'm not going to find a job." And so
Yeah.
everyone was like, maybe try doing teaching, maybe
Uh huh.
try doing a health course. You'll
Uh
definitely
huh.
get it there. And so I think that conversation is very good because then it gets us thinking which career is suitable. And when does somebody become so qualified? What do you do in a case where you've been rejected because of a qualification that you have?
Fantastic, and that's a good start, Stephanie. So this is what we want, and we are going to open the phone lines to our audience to give us your views. Why do you think we have so many dysfunctional degree orders? What is the problem? What went wrong when choosing careers? And now, as we begin, I want to briefly explain to you people that the career path that you choose has a very serious bearing on your levels of happiness in the future, right? For example, I've chosen a career in finance. This is my path. This is where I'm expanding. All right. So this career
Mm,
path I've chosen has a serious bearing on my personal finance, on my happiness, but also on my interaction with the outside world. So it's extremely important before you choose a career, you understand the difference between a career and a job. Like we always say, when you're in your 20s, for example, that's the time you can move from one job to the next because you're still getting to know yourself. You're probably trying to see whether you can do this course, do that course. A career, on the
mm,
other hand, is different. A career is a path that you take in life that's gonna last for as long as you live. For example, I said I've chosen a career in finance. This is the path I've decided for my life. I'm gonna be a finance person. I'm upgrading in finance. So when you get your first degree, for example, that's not a career, no. You just have a qualification, all right? You have your
mm,
first certificate, that's not a career. You just have a qualification, you have a certificate. A career means now you want to build something on what you already have. For example, if you have a degree, now you want to have a master's degree, now you're building a career. Now you want to get your PhD, you're building a career. Now you want to do courses that supplement your degree or your master's or your certificate, now you're building a career. So now,
mm,
my advice, even before I get into the specific step, and I want to mention this: if you have a degree, you have a certificate or a diploma, all right, don't rush into getting a master's degree. That will make you so sad, partly because you have to understand the job market, the salary, the money is involved in that course that you have done, and then make a decision whether this is the right path for you to go in life. For example,
mm,
let's say you are an accountant and then you work a little bit for a few weeks, all right, maybe a few months, maybe 1 year or so, and then you begin to learn things in the accounting field, the salary ranges, the levels of competence required. A lot of things are being involved. So now you can make a decision, like I did. I looked at the job market for accountants. I looked at the monies involved. I looked at the marketability. I looked at the competence and skill that are required for an accountant. And I said, no, I think I'll have this thing. Let me now build a career in this thing. What do I do? I enroll for an MBA. What do I do? I go and get a prestigious degree from abroad. What do? I begin to advance on my knowledge because now I see opportunity in the field. I know I can interact with the outside world using my
mm,
career. I know I can work for myself. I know I can do ABCD. So now I'm building a career in finance because I've worked before. I've seen the marketability. I've seen the monies involved. I've seen how it's going to contribute to my personal value as an individual, my intrinsic value. So I've noticed all these beautiful things about finance and accountants. I said, what? I'm going to build a career. But most people, they make a mistake, Stephanie. They
mm,
get a degree. Before they work, they go and get a master's degree. Then they realize they have a paper that is not functional. They have a dysfunctional master's degree. They can't be employed. Or even if they are employed, they are getting peanuts. You have a master's degree and you're getting 5,000 kwacha. Why? Because you chose a wrong path in life. You never understood. You never worked before. You never saw, the job market. You never did the analysis. You did not calculate the cost of upgrading. So, for example, when I went to for my MBA, what did I say? I looked at how much is it going to cost me to do an MBA, and what would be the benefit if I get the MBA. All right. So I did
mm,
that analysis to see is the cost the benefit outweighing the cost, and I said yes, it's outweighing the cost. Let me go and do this thing. So that's what most of the people don't do. I don't know what you think around those thoughts before you get into details, Stephanie.
For me, just a few thoughts that you've shared take me to the fact that is there a specific, criteria to pick on when you want to choose your career? I did see somebody write in the comment section. They don't tell us. I think he wrote something about they don't tell us about the career before we go there. So I was actually, it got me thinking, is there a way that you actually need to choose your career, or is it that people don't just make the bet out of this? Maybe, Mr. Lusambo, we are all quick to want employment. Do you
Yes.
think we could make very good use of our career if we just, we're not all eager to want to get employed by someone. I'm asking this because I don't think it has to do with the MB or you reaching the
Yeah,
master's or
yeah,
getting a diploma. I think it's what you
yeah,
can do with your diploma at the moment,
yes,
even before
yes,
you go to your degree. So maybe
yes,
it's because we get frustrated because we want
yes.
to join the long queue of people that want employment. For instance, Mr. Dusambo, we've got over 60,000 teachers out there that are not employed.
Fantastic.
Have you ever wondered why they've not come together to create just one school?
That's the point. That's the point,
Yeah,
Stefan. An amazing point that right there. That's a beautiful point
yeah,
you're making, Stefan. We have 60,000 unemployed teachers. And then what do? You go and become a teacher. Have you ever
yeah,
wondered why these people are not employed or why they've not built a school themselves?
exactly.
That's a good question. And that's our starting point, Stefan. You've made a very important point there. Guys, it's important before you choose a career, you do some analysis. Now, let's get into the specifics, okay? So, I'm going to share
Mm,
a bit of some screen here, okay? I'm going to share a bit of some screen with you guys, and we're going to look at a few things. Yeah, let me see if I can share my screen. I hope it works because sometimes when I try to share my screen, it takes me back right, from where I don't want it to be. But anyway, let's try and see if it's gonna be shared this time. Okay, fantastic.
mm.
Let's see this thing if it's gonna be shared. All right, fantastic. So there we go. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to share a screen that contains, a few things that I feel are important for people to look at as they are looking for, as they are looking for employment. It's called a SWOT. All right, it's called a SWOT analysis for careers.
Analysis.
Okay, it's a
Mhm.
SWOT analysis for careers, and I love this thing part because it makes a lot of sense, Stephanie. A lot of people, like you are saying, they don't pay attention to see what's happening in the market. They just say, "What? My dad was an accountant. I'm going to be an accountant." But do you consider these factors? So there we go. Let's see if we can bring this thing on. I hope it comes on. But anyway, now can you
Yeah.
see my screen, Stephanie? Is that on?
No. Okay, let's see if it comes. Okay, yeah, we can now.
All right, fantastic. Audience, please give us a comment. Can you see our screen, please? That would be fantastic. Somebody give us a comment. Can you see our screen clearly?
You might want to zoom it a little.
I zoom it a little bit. Okay, fantastic. Let me do that. Okay, so there we go. Okay, like that.
Yes.
It- All right, fantastic. So, guys, we have to look at a SWOT analysis for careers as well. All right, for example, let's say you want to become a doctor. One of the things you must understand is your personal abilities. For example, look at your learning abilities. How do you learn things? And most people, they go to become medical doctors or become accountants or become pilots, become whatever it is because their dad taught them so, because their mom taught them so. We have a lot of selfish parents who want to live their dreams in their children. They wanted to be a doctor, but they couldn't. So what do? They push their children to become doctors, and that's so wrong. So now, when you're at that point in your life, for example, you have a degree or you have a master or you have a diploma or certificate, or you're just getting started, you want to understand and see this. Now, let's talk from the point of view, Stefan, of somebody who's just getting started. Then we're going to go to somebody who has a degree, all right, or somebody who has a certificate or a diploma. Now, for somebody just getting started from the scratch, you have to understand these things here. For example, what are your learning abilities? That's very important, Stephanie. A lot of people choose courses which don't match their mental faculties. It's extremely, extremely important that you choose a career that matches your mental faculties. Because if you don't, you look like you're down when you're not, you're in a wrong field. We have a lot of people who are failing exams and they've been labeled as being down because they've chosen wrong career paths. They are in the wrong fields. If they
Mm,
change to do what they are good at, to do what, for example, that speaks to their mental faculties, they can excel greatly. I know a friend from Zikas who was
mm,
forced to go and do some course at CBU by her dad. All right. She
mm,
was failing the whole time at CBU. She changed, she came to Zikas to do a course in finance. She was doing extremely exceptionally well in her class. She graduated, she never failed a course. Why? Because she did something that she truly loved, something that was speaking to her mental faculties. So before you choose a career, don't put the money first. All right. For example, look at the amount of abilities that are required. For example, you know, to become a chartered accountant, it's just the same as becoming a medical doctor, because in a chartered accountant, Stefan, you have to do 7 years. That's how many
Mm,
years we take to become a fully qualified chartered accountant. You do the first 4 years, you do from a level one application up to advisory, and then you have to do another 3 years of practical training after you graduate. School never ends. You have to go for 3 years for you to be given that CA designation. So it takes about 7 years. So you want to think about those things. Do I have the abilities to do this? For example, am I able to do? Am I good at calculations? Am I good at analysis? Am I good at handling pressure? You want to first understand your strengths, understand your
mm,
emotions. For example, being a doctor, being an accountant, being an engineer, being doing that demographic courses, those are very involving careers. So you want to understand your personal emotions. How do you handle stress? Understand yourself very well before you can choose a career path in your life. But also look at adaptability. For example, if you look at teachers, for example, teachers, when you're going into teaching, you must be somebody who adapts to changing environments very quickly, because anytime you can be sent to Sorwezi, you can be sent to Shangombo, or you can go into the deepest, remotest parts of this country to go and work from there. How do you
mm,
adapt to changing environments? How do you adapt to change? All right. Some careers also require you to be a leader. For example, accountants is one of those careers. When you're going to become a chartered accountant, you're not being trained to become an employee. Chartered accountants are trained to become business leaders, CEOs, CFOs, finance directors. That's how they are trained, owners of the businesses, entrepreneurs. So if you can't lead, all right, you are so poor at leadership skills. Perhaps don't want to do this kind of career path, partly because it's going to require a lot of analysis, a lot of decision making. You're going to be required to lead people. So if you are not good at people skills, perhaps you want not to do it. So it's
mm,
extremely important to understand the career path you are choosing for yourself. For example, are you able to multitask? Is that a strength? In finance, we
mm,
have a lot of deadlines. Just like in medicine, sometimes you can work at night. You can be called at 02. All right. How do you handle that? Are you okay with that? All right.
mm,
Or are you somebody who wants to spend your time more with your family, or your time more? Because being a fully fledged chartered accountant, Stefan, is not an easy thing. It's easy when you're looking at somebody. We work longer hours on a daily basis. We go to sleep at midnight more often than not because of too many deadlines that you're supposed to meet. So you're supposed to be able to
mm,
multitask. So are you able to handle pressure? Because the career path that you choose will determine a lot of things in your life, including your marriage. For example, most accountants who are in the auditing field don't spend much time in their bedrooms because they're always trying to meet deadlines. You have a client, you have an audit coming up, you are busy all the time, knocking off late. So if you choose this career and you have a demanding wife who wants you to spend the whole time in the bedroom, you're going to be having problems. So it's extremely important before you choose a career path, you understand all
mm,
these things. What are your abilities to what are your learning abilities, emotions, adaptability, leadership skills? Are you able to multitask? But also, you want to ask yourself this question, all right?
mm,
Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it something you really want? You really and truly want? Now, there's something I want to tell you, Stephanie. Okay? If you are choosing a career in your life, people, please listen to this very carefully, okay? And I want you to write it down somewhere in the comments. This is going to help you, it's going to be a game changer. Sometimes listen more to people around you. All right? Sometimes listen to people around you, because people around you are able to see things in you that you can't see in yourself sometimes. For example, when I was in school, people would tell me, Shadik, you should become a journalist. Shadik, you're so smart. You should become different courses. When I was a kid, my mom would tell me you should become a lecturer. So throughout my entire life, people would tell me, become this, become that, because I wasn't listening. Mom told me about me becoming a lecturer when I was just in grade 3, grade 4. She told me because I taught my neighbors how to read. Almost all my neighbors, including my younger brother, who is a medical doctor.
mm,
I taught him how to read. I taught a lot of people how to read in my area. So my mom would say, you know what, you should become a lecturer, and say, no, I didn't know what being a lecturer was. When I was in high school, I taught my classmates biology. They used to call me dad in class, right? Because I was like the dad of the class. I did literature for my friends. I would read books for them in class. It was amazing, but I wasn't listening. All right. One day I was on my way to the University of Africa, Stefan, to go and apply. I wanted to do some course called telecoms. A friend of mine, whom I had invited for dinner that particular evening, I told him about it. You know what? I'm going to do telecoms. Then he looks at me. He tells me, Shadrach, you are so smart. How do you go? I think what can suit you is something to do with finance. I love the way you analyze things. This was a friend of mine who was telling me about my abilities, which I didn't see in myself. And I said, really? I have to do finance? He said, yes, there's a course called Zika. I said, what is Zika? Zika is a course. A friend of mine sits me down. He was a technician at that time. He was earning 7,500 a month. Then he told me, see, I'm just a technician and I'm getting paid 7.5. I'm very sure if you did chartered accountants, you can do better because boy, you think very well. I love the way you do things. I love your analysis. You are so smart. Sometimes I wish I had your brain. That's a guy I admired who told me that. And I'm wondering, I said, oh, am I that smart? I don't think I'm smart. All right. Of course, I know I have a gift. I have a very beautiful memory. But I don't think I'm so smart. So what do? I listened to the advice from my friend. This guy took me, I was in Kafue at the time. He escorted me from Kafue. He accompanied me all the way to Lusaka. He took me to Zika headquarters. We got the application form. We were told, go to ECZ to have your results verified. We went together there to ECZ in Woodlands. We verified my results and we submitted. I made the first payment. I sold my tablet, which I had for 1,600 kwacha, to my friend who paid me 800 kwacha, and I paid as my first installment. My younger brother about it, he was in China in school at the time. He sent for me 1,000 kwacha, which I topped up and paid for my school. I started the first day. A friend of mine took me through and gave me some advice. So I listened to the advice from my friend because he observed my abilities. And today I'm so happy I did listen. That's the best advice I ever taken. A friend of mine saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. All right? I didn't think of becoming an accountant one day. It wasn't on my menu. Of course, I wanted to be an economist, but not an accountant. So sometimes when you are choosing a career path, listen to people around you. Guys, somebody give me a comment. Say, listen more. Somebody give me a comment. Say, listen more. Listening is key, guys. Somebody give me a comment and say, listening is key when choosing a career path. Listening is key. Listening is key. Guys, somebody give me a comment. Listening is key. So because I listened, all right, to people around me, people would tell me, I'm smart. You should become a lecturer. You should become a judge. You should become a what? I wasn't listening. But one time I listened and I tried it and it worked. When I was in class the first day, I was so amazed. I was interested at what I was learning because it spoke to my mental faculties. I love to analyze things. I love to do calculations. I love to work, I love challenging stuff. So I was having fun while learning and I excelled. One of my lecturers, the first day in class, here's what he told me, Mr. Ngandaro Joseph. He told me that, you know what, young man, when I look at you, I see a young man who's going to change the rebranding of Zika. Those were his exact words. And I was shocked. I said, but sir, this is my first week in class and he's telling me that. So people see things about you that you can't see in yourself. So when you're choosing a career, sometimes ask people around you, what do you think? Do you think I can do this? Ask people, and if they are honest enough to tell you, if you're attentive enough to listen, you're going to learn things about yourself that you've never known your entire life. Today, I'm a lecturer, all right? And I'm not blowing my trumpet, Stephen, but I'm quite a celebrated lecturer in finance. I've graduated over 3,000 people. I've taught over 3,000 students in this country. So my mother used to tell me be a lecturer when I was a young kid. I didn't know what it was, but today I am one of those people because she could see my abilities as a kid and she was honest enough to tell me that. My friend saw my abilities and was honest enough to tell me that. So sometimes you go into a wrong career because you are not listening. You are doing what someone else is doing. For example, somebody can say, Shadrach has done well in finance. I'm going to be an accountant. No. You will not be able to do the things I've done maybe because we have different mental faculties, different interests, all right? We have different interests. So it's not a guarantee if you do become an accountant, you become like me or you become better than me. Sometimes you may be better, sometimes you may be worse. So listening is key, all right? Now, Stephanie, before I go into the next one, I want to hear your views. What do you think about this aspect of listening to people before you choose a career path?
Firstly, Mr. Lusambo, I feel we don't just become, I think you're right when you say somebody has to know their abilities, what they can and cannot do. Like I told you, the very first time I was going for journalism, everyone thought, it's not the course for you. You should have done. In fact, I even had one of the people that told me, if you do production management, I will sponsor your whole course. I was wondering why they wouldn't just sponsor the course I wanted, except that they wanted me to have done project management or production management. They were willing to sponsor. But then I think one of my standings was I looked at what I like. What do I spend most of my times doing? I would spend time, speaking, mentoring, doing stuff like that. I think that's just me. I love speaking and I spend half of my time doing that. And so I knew that the course for me was in communications. I knew that I would become a communications expert. So it starts with the ability. And I should say, as we were growing, years ago in secondary, I had people that would call me DJ something, something. And, yeah, because, we'll be talking
Fantastic.
all the time. And they would call me a DJ in school. And, I am today because I came from somewhere. So really listening to people has its own, because people see what you're able to do. But sometimes, Mr. Lusambo, we have to be careful with whom we listen
Yes.
to. And
Yes.
obviously check the motives as well. It's
Yes.
not every voice that we are going to incorporate saying, okay, this person, you have to know that that person means well for you. And even as somebody chooses that career, it should be something that at least you agree with. I know that you
Yes.
you, you loved something that was challenging, and you knew that obviously math and stuff like that was your thing. I think
Yes.
for me, somebody whispered to me and said, "You belong to accounts." I'm like, hey, I don't think so. I don't belong
Fantastic.
there. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So even as people whisper to you what you need to do, I think the most important thing is to agree with it yourself and say that you have the abilities. Otherwise, it does become a disaster on the other side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exact, Stephen. That's a very important point you've mentioned. And I'm gonna tell you my experience. When I finally made the decision to go and do chartered accountancy. All right. I had some advice from my family members. Some of my relatives sat me down. They told me, Shadwick, you want to become an accountant. Why are you going to get the money to do this thing? Why don't you become, because I did metal fabrication and welding, why don't you buy a welding machine and open up a workshop for yourself? You're going to make good money. Why do you want to spend money on a course? So some family members advised me that I should not go this route. All right. But you know
Mm.
what? Because I looked at my mental faculties, I sat myself down, I reflected, I prayed over it, and I did my personal analysis. And that's, you know what? I think this is the right path for me because I've analyzed the market, the job market. I took time. Even when my friend advised me, I spent days thinking through it, all right, analyzing the market, consulting people who were already doing it. And I met a guy whose card I still have. He was an accountant, a group accountant for Luntech. Okay, this guy gave me a lift from Kafia to Lusaka. He never charged me. All right. And
Mm.
he explained to me how chartered accountant has helped him, and I asked him questions. You know what? He was explaining, and I understood. I said, "Oh, fine." So my friend was right. So I consulted first, but I also looked at the pressure involved and do I have the mental faculties to do such kind of things? And I said, yes, I think I do. I love challenging stuff and I enjoy things that are challenging. Let me go for it. And I went for it. And for me, it worked. So imagine if I had listened to some of my family members who told me, don't do this. But yes, make no mistake. Those family members who discouraged me to do this, it's not that they were jealous, no. Because maybe they felt for me I was broke. They said, but how is this guy going to manage?
Mm.
Maybe he's going to be more stressed. So sometimes people advise you from the point of view of care. They say, no, just do this because they think maybe your finances are limited and are tied up. So it's important to know yourself before you choose a career. But then let's go to the next one, guys. The next bit I want to talk about, Stefan, is your weaknesses. You have to know your weaknesses. If you have lack of confidence, for example, you have low self-esteem, and then you want to
Mm.
become a journalist. Come on now, what is wrong with you? You're already suffering from lack of self-esteem, all right? And then you want to
Mm.
become a journalist, which involves you being on camera all the time, talking to people. Guys, talking to people like we are doing right now is not an easy thing to do. It takes courage. It's not that we are not scared because we know we are talking to people who are more knowledgeable than us, more wiser than us, even more comfortable than us. But what do? We gather up our courage and we come and do it anyway. So
Mm.
courage does not mean absence of fear, but doing something despite being fearful. So every time we come here to speak to you, our lovely audience, it's not that we're not scared. We are scared, we feel it. But we gather ourselves up and do it anyway. Because we know some of you are more educated than us, more knowledgeable than us, more comfortable than us, more financially sound than us, but still we come and talk about finances in front of you. It's not an easy thing. So if you
Mm.
want to become a journalist and you know you have a problem with self-esteem, be honest. You're going to get a qualification which will not save you. All right? Mental faculties are key. Analytical capabilities are also key. How do you analyze things? Look at your history in education. Look at your history in school. How have been your grades throughout your academic life? What can you afford? What problem do you have? What subjects do you enjoy? What don't you enjoy? So when you're choosing a career, you choose something that speaks to your mental faculties. You don't want to look like you're down because you're in the wrong class. Those are very important issues, Stefan. And this is true because even in employment, like I told you, when I did metal fabrication and welding, I always looked like a total mess as a fabricator. All right, I was a fabricator and I was working with a number of welders. Of course, I know how to do welding because welding is a topic in fabrication. So, because this is not something I knew, this is not something I thought of doing. One day I woke up and I was told there was an opportunity to go and do a course. I went to this school and I was offered a place in metal fabrication and welding. I didn't know what it was. The first day in class, I didn't know what course I was doing. All right. Even when I got a
Mm.
job, I was a total mess. I was a total mess. I looked as if I have no clue. I never went to any school whatsoever. Even though I was one of the best graduating students in metal fabrication, when I graduated my school, I was one of the best graduating students. And I got that award. But still, at work, I was stressed, if not depressed. I didn't like it. All right. So if you do a course that does not speak to your mental faculties, you look like you're down or like you're slow, like you're incompetent, partly because you've imprisoned yourself in a wrong path. But here's the issue, guys. Even most importantly, the career path that you choose will determine your financial happiness as well. Look, I do financial appraisals for clients, Stefan, and I do it having fun. Do you know why? Because I love it. I don't take it
Mm-hmm.
as work. I take it as fun. Clients will call me, no, I want to do another investment. I say, come on, baby, bring it on. I'm here for you. Because I love it.
Mm.
I love it. I've built an office at my home. One of the rooms that whenever I'm at home, I'm able to do the work as well because I love doing this thing. All right. But when I was doing metal fabrication, I didn't love it. But I did it because it served the purpose. It helped me to pay a few coins here and there and to get a few coins here and there. But eventually,
Mm.
I had to make a decision. And I looked at myself and said, now I'm a fabricator. Should I go and get an artisan certificate? Should I go and upgrade in this field? I said, no, I can't do this field. I can't upgrade in this career path. I can't keep metal fabrication welding as my career path because it's not for me. So what do I do? Let me change and do something else. Because now I was more sober. I saw the job market. I saw the money involved. I saw how many companies are employing fabricators in this country. Then I said, it's not for me. It's not for me. I've got to change. I was honest with myself. So when you are choosing a career, look at the opportunities, marketability of the course. Look at how marketable is the course. If you have done a degree already and now you're in employment, you can tell by the salary that you get and by the job opportunities that are available. You can even go through NAPSA data, go through Zamstats. You're going to see what's happening in terms of salaries and stuff like that. You're going to see. They'll be able to give you an idea of how the market is. Or if you don't know how to do that, you can engage people like myself to help you understand the job market for your career path. So marketability is also important because the job that you choose to spend your time on will affect
Mm.
the quality of life. Imagine you go and do a career where you spend so much money to get a degree and then you graduate, you're being paid 5,000 kwacha. That's sad. That's extremely sad. Of course, we see from the NAPSA data that the average salary in Zambia is about 6,700. And of course, professional earning about 7,900 or so. But still, sometimes if you choose a wrong career path, you have a degree which has no value. Right?
Mm.
I want to give you an example. For example, where we are today, we have TikTok and we have Facebook, Instagram. We have these kids who don't know how to read, who don't even know how to spell their names. All they can do is go and twerk a bit, twerk a bit, twerk a bit, because people like to see people twerking. They have a huge following. You twerk well, you twerk well, you twerk well. What do companies do? They call them, "Oh, I'd like you to twerk in our advert." They begin to pay their monies as marketing influencers, as
Mm.
brand ambassadors. Have you seen?
Mm.
Through twerking. Now you've gone to a university, for example, you've gone to do your degree in marketing, you want to do your master's in marketing, you are doing other courses in marketing, and then
Yes,
you're not
yeah.
even known. You're not even known. There's this kid who has no idea what marketing is, who has no idea what a degree looks like in marketing or a master's, is twerking, he has a following, and the companies go and hire this kid and he charges 30,000 kwacha, or maybe even for pay post 1,000 kwacha, whatever it is getting a lot of money than you with your master's in marketing.
Mm.
So you have to consider all these things before you can do what? You can choose your career path. How marketable is my course? All right. Marketability, expansion. Is there room for you to expand? For example, when I went into finance, I asked myself, is there room for me to expand? Yes, there is room, because I can do several other trainings and supplementary courses to supplement my what? My knowledge. But also I can expand as a financial advisor, which I am now a
Mm.
certified financial analyst. I've expanded, just not being an accountant, but also being a certified financial analyst. So there's room for expansion in this field. I can do a number of things. I am a financial literacy coach. I do family finance. I talk to couples. I talk to single people who are about to get married, individual finance. So there's room for expansion. And if there's one thing COVID has taught us, is to choose a course that enables you to work remotely in the 21st century. You don't want to mess up this time around. So room for expansion, but also, is there room to learn new things? Imagine you do a course, your brain will never develop. Or you do the same thing over and over and over again. That means even the
Mm.
amount of money you'll be getting will also be what? Will be restricted. So before you choose a course, consider these things: marketability, expansion, room to learn new things. I had to turn down a job, Stefan, some time back, because they wanted to hire me with a very good salary. They offered me a very good amount of money, and they told me I was going to be doing administrative work. And I said, no, I'm a chartered accountant. Why should I
Mm.
do admin work? All right. For example, I'm not saying I can't do it. If I didn't have a source of income, I could have gotten the job. But because I wasn't in a hurry, I said, what? For now, it can wait, because I don't want to work for 10 years and then I have no experience.
Mm.
So if you're going to take up a course, is it a course that gives you room to learn new things? For example, I have learned a lot of things about valuation, strategy formulation, risk management. All right. I've learned a lot of things that I did not learn in school, for example, because I've done other supplementary courses that allow me to expand as a chartered accountant. Now I speak at events. I've been able to train campaign directors from reputable institutions in this country because I've expanded. There's room for expansion. I can interact with outside world. Right now, I'm on radio talking to different smart people. All right. So I've
Mm.
expanded. I'm not just in an office punching numbers on a laptop, but I'm also communicating with the outside world. I can express myself fully with this kind of career path I've chosen. It's
Mm.
important to understand the potential for growth in the career path. That's one thing I would like to. And as I conclude on this one, Stefan, I want to mention a few threats. You mentioned something very important, Stefan. You said we have over 60,000 unemployed teachers. That's a huge threat for somebody who wants to go into teaching. Look at the number of graduates in this field. How many graduates do we
Mm.
have currently who are not employed? Just last week, 2 weeks ago, we put up an advert. We wanted to hire a pharmacist, and we wanted one person, and we
Mm.
offered the salary of 7,000 kwacha, because that's when we are starting. So we didn't want to waste people's time. Simply said, anybody who can afford, who would want to save 7,000 kwacha per month, we are willing to pay 7,000 kwacha as a starting salary, and we're going to review after 3 months or so. As of today, we have 190 applicants.
Yeah.
We picked one person already last week. All right. But applications are still coming. As of today, they're at 190. And people are still applying. Say, if you have an opportunity, please call me. Do you know what that
Mm.
means? We have a lot of graduates in the market. So it's important to understand how many graduates do we have. When I looked at the chartered accountants world, and I say, how many people do we have in finance in Zambia? I did an analysis of how many graduates do we have. Do we have the job market? And I said, no, accountants run the economy. Every company needs somebody who has financial information, financial knowledge. So the market was huge. It's like becoming a doctor in Zambia. Look at the ratio to one doctor to how many patients in Zambia. We have a
Mm.
huge gap. All right. So being a doctor, all right, can give you a good chance of being employed, not just by the government, but also by different private institutions.
Mm.
So look at the number of graduates, because that can pose a threat to your employment. You don't want to graduate and then stay for 5 years, no job. That's sad. That's so sad. You've spent 60,000 kwacha or more in school to get your degree, and then you spend 5 years. That means someone who went to do a business course has graduated and they are working for someone. You are still waiting
Mm.
for to be deployed by the government. So don't focus more on those jobs where you depend on the government to give you a job. I'm not saying being a teacher is bad. I'm not saying
Mm.
being a nurse is bad. What I'm saying that these two fields are congested in our country. We have thousands of nurses, thousands of teachers who are not employed. Some of them have even reached the age of 45 and they can't be employed because now they are old. They've never worked. So they wasted money going to school. Do you know why? They never looked at the number of graduates in the market. But also look at the economic situation. The economic situation helps you to understand the levels of salaries and marketability to your course. This economy, for example, Zambia is a growing economy. All right. Obviously, if you went to do things digital way, you're going to have a chance of growing, because now we are moving from the analog to digital. So now
Mm.
digital is the future. Video editing in Zambia now is the future. We have over 200,000 Zambians on TikTok today. That tells you that this is the fast growing side of our economy. Digital is now the future. So all courses you are going to do, looking at what is happening in the world, look at the COVID-19, how it affected our economy. All those things should have taught us to choose careers that are going to speak to the changing needs in the economic environment. Technology also plays a vital role. For example, as an accountant, I can't be too comfortable and saying, you know what, I'm a chartered accountant. Yeah, very soon, the value of accountants and several other careers is going to be wiped out by robots, technology. We have some accounting software that are able to do everything for you. All you do is punch a number on a laptop, and the system does everything, gives you statements, gives you invoices, gives you everything you need. That means we are going to be reducing the number of finance experts we need in companies very soon. Just like marketing experts, very soon we'll not need them because of TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. So look at technology. How does it pose a threat to your career? Because the change in technology may wipe out your career. For example, now if you go to the bank very soon, especially if it's in Dubai, you go to the bank, all you're going to find is a robot. A robot has been fed with information about the bank. You ask, I want to open an account. A robot attends to a lot of people at once. It saves you. So no need to have a lot of people in the bank on the till punching numbers. No, just one robot is able to handle everything. So where we are going, technology is posing a threat to a lot of careers. So choose a career that's going to help you to survive even when there's technology. For example, as a finance professional, I can develop a system that is able to help my clients do their books without me having to go there and do it physically. I can develop an auditing system that can audit on behalf of my clients without me having to go there physically. So now this is why we said choose a career where there's room for what? For expansion. When technology change, are you going to be wiped out? Or are you going to grow with technology? That's the career that you want to choose. And a lot of people, unfortunately, Stephanie, have done a terrible, terrible job in this regard. This is why we have a lot of sad degree orders, dysfunctional youths, dysfunctional youths who are stressed, who are depressed, who are discouraged, who think they are not special, who think they are dull, who think they are not fortunate in life because they made a terrible decision at a young age. They chose a wrong career path. They never consulted because somebody, maybe a selfish dad or a selfish mom, a selfish brother told them, do this course, I'll pay for you. Like somebody offered you, if you do this one, I'll pay for you. You don't do, they don't pay for you. That's wrong. So going forward, people, please think through these things. I don't know what you think, Stephen, about these few points we've mentioned here.
I think what I've taken away from this conversation, even as we get to really sum it up, is that, Mr. Lusambo, if people would actually come together, they would do so much. I was actually taken back to the point I made earlier. We've got a number of people, whether it's in the health sector and whether it was in the business sector, a lot of them that are not employed. And when we look at social media, I think every single day there's a contribution for somebody, whether they were sick, whether they just needed money for some reason, or whether it was a birthday for someone. I think people are more willing to spend money there. And so today I'm forced to think, why won't people still come together, form a corporation, get people to donate money from them, just the same process they use when somebody just wants money for donations, create a company and start running it. I think we would have
Fantastic.
a lot of jobs.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so now maybe we can take a few comments, and we can have our callers calling in. Please give us your call in the next few minutes. I think admin can give us some extra 5 minutes, so that we can wrap it up in the remaining 10 minutes. We're remaining with 5 minutes, but we're asking for from admin. Please give us five most at 12:05. We can wrap it up. We want to just get feedback from our audience because this is a very important topic, and we hope that admin please give us a message. Let us know if our 5 minutes has been granted. So now we can answer a few. We can look at a few. We can look at a few. We can look at a few comments, Stephanie. And of course, I will be grateful if you can put up that number for our viewers who are on radio to give us a call, so they can tell us what do you think has been the problem. Why do we have so many dysfunctional degree orders? What do you think, in your opinion, people should look out for before choosing a career? Give us a call. Give us a call at the number that is going to be provided. Stefan, please give us the number on the screen, or you can simply say it out. I'll write it down so that our friends can give us a call on that number. So now I have a comment. We have a comment here from Prisant Ulaya. Please, Stefan, put up the number for our friends to give us feedback on a phone call.
The
That would be
number is
fantastic.
077 077 happens to be the number that one can use to call us on. 077
All right, fantastic. So there you go. Call us on that number. Give us your views and the contribution. What do you think? Now, President Ulaya says something interesting, Stefan. You may read the comment.
This one says, Mr. Lusambo, as you have said that career selection affects our life, does this mean the career is tied to one's purpose as well? Exactly.
Fantastic. That's a good one. And I'm going to answer this one in two parts. Okay. The first part, our purpose in life is not to live for ourselves, but to live for the Creator. That's the biblical purpose in life for every human being. We do not live for ourselves, but for our Creator, who is Jehovah God. That's the ultimate purpose. But when it comes to business purpose, I think your career and your purpose in life are two different things. Right? Your purpose in life, I'm assuming you're a Christian, is to live not for yourself, but for the Creator, to do the will of God. That's the ultimate purpose for every Christian. Okay. But talking about business, people have made mistakes. For example, like I said, we don't look at our mental faculties when choosing a career. We look at what we want to go and say, what, I have passion for helping people. I'm going to do social work. That's how people choose careers. No, I have passion for helping people. I'm going to do social work. You do social work, you are broke. Instead of helping people, you're the one who now needs help from people you're supposed to be helping. Do you know why? Because you chose your career based on emotions. Passion does not pay bills. For example, I am passionate about finance. I love finance, and I've done courses. I've written books. I'm passionate, and it's paying my bills. That's the good thing about my passion. Some people are passionate about music. It pays their bills. That's the good thing. But you, if your passion can't pay your bills, why are you wasting passion? Why? Do something that's going to pay your bills. Then you can get back to passion.
I think it should be written in the comment section. Later. Passion should pay bills.
People, write in the comments, please. Passion should pay bills. That's the honest point we can tell you. Passion should pay bills. All right.
Hello.
We can look at another. We have a caller.
Yes, hi. How
Yes,
are
I
you?
yeah, fine thing, and how are you?
Fine, you're back again.
Yes, I'm back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I wanted. Good morning, Mr. Samba.
Good morning. Thank you, sir. How are you?
Fine thing, and how are you? Yes,
I'm fine, thank you.
I wanted to ask this question.
Yes,
Since you said between choosing careers, that's where we get confused, most of us. So my question
Yes.
is, how long does it has to take? Like, for example, for me to choose for a career, because I'm saying this is where the problem is. We are confused. What should I do? What should I do? In the process, I make a wrong decision. So, for how long should it take for me to make a decision?
Fantastic. That's a good question. What's your name, sir?
Gift.
Oh, Mr. Gift. Fantastic. All right. That's a great question right there. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Do you have another call? We can answer this one, Stephanie.
I think we can answer that one.
Right. Fantastic. So, Mr. Gift says, how long should it take before you can decide on your career path? I'm going to give you my personal example. Okay. I first did a diploma in chartered accountants and I got a job. And I worked as a diploma holder of accountants. All right. That helped me to assess the marketability of my course, but also the salary involved and the nature of my work. I was able to, from the kind of work I was doing and looking at those who were above me, those who had the full qualification, how much they were getting paid, and the things they were doing, I made a decision to go the path in finance. I went ahead and did the other levels of finance. All right. So sometimes if you're already in employment, you can look at your current conditions because you know how much money you're getting paid and how much money those who are above you are getting paid. Then you can decide whether this is the path you want to take in life or whether you have to look the other way. But if you are not yet in employment, you've not yet done a career, you need to sit down with somebody knowledgeable. For example, you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. You can call me. You have an appointment with me. We'll sit down. I give you some professional advice. What can you look out for? How do you assess? What? Then we also do a test on you, on your mental faculties to see whether you can do the thing that you want to do. All right. So there are two ways. If you are not yet started, seek for professional advice so that you can be guided properly. Be willing to spend a few coins to sit with an expert to advise you. I was fortunate enough, I met that man who gave me a lift, who was a group accountant for Luntech. I'll never forget. He gave me very good advice. All right. I wish I could see the business card. I still have it in my wallet. I could have mentioned his name. But for you, if you don't have somebody, go and seek for professional advice. You can come to us and we'll sit down and be able to advise you. But if you're in employment, your job can teach you, can tell you your worth in terms of how much money you'll be getting paid, what is involved, what you're doing, and then make a decision whether it is something you want to do for the rest of your life or not before you go and do a degree or a master's degree. I hope we've answered, Stefan. What do you think?
I think we've actually answered, and I hope you'll be able to reach out. Yeah, I hope you'll be able to reach out.
So let's pick a few calls. We have 3 minutes to go, guys. We're going at 12:05. We're under 3 minutes. Any question? There's a question again from Mukuka here. What does it say, Stephanie?
Are we supposed to go to school with the intention of getting a job? I don't think so.
Yeah, so it also depends with the kind of career you choose. For example, if you're going to become a nurse, the intention is to be employed in government or in some private institution, because when you graduate, you will not build your own hospital overnight. That's the fact. So there are some careers where when you finish, you can work for yourself. For example, when you're a chartered accountant, you can do consultants. When you're a pharmacist, you can have your own pharmacy. All right? When you're a teacher, maybe you can open your own school in the future if you grow, or you can open your own community school in your community. So, or you can do private tuitions for people. But when you're a nurse, you can't do private health treatment because you are regulated, highly regulated. You can't, you may make mistake and kill people. You don't want that to happen. So the purpose of getting into a career also matters. Why do you want to become a nurse? Do you want to become an employee, or do you want to become, a self-employed? If you're going to become self-employed, do you have a hospital? Do you have the resources? All right. If you're going to become a teacher, what is the vision? So we have seen some families, Stefan, where one person is a doctor, one of them is a pharmacist, one of them is a nurse. They have a vision as a family to open a hospital or a clinic. So what is your vision? by getting into this job. For example, when I went to do accountants, of course, I wanted to be employed, but I had a vision to become an entrepreneur because that's the ultimate goal for accountants, to be business owners and business leaders. That was the goal. So it's important to understand the goal of the career you're choosing. All right. You can give us a call. We have 1 minute to go, people. 0771 616290. That's the number you can call right now. And Stefan and I will be happy to speak with you to hear your contribution and your views. All right. Any comments, Stefan, that you've picked that we can respond to under a minute?
Yeah, one did say, one texted, passion should pay bills. Be passionate about what you do. Yeah.
Fantastic. So to our ever-loving audience, we have a comment from Lakti. What I'd like to say?
Passion should pay bills. Let's not just choose a career just because our relative want us to look at the market of what we want to do. Let's do a career that can help us not just to be employed, but also to create employment. And also, not just that, also to expand and grow your knowledge and see what you can do with the knowledge that you get. For instance, even in the media, you will find that a lot of ways that will grow you. So passion should pay your bills.
Fantastic. Our last comment for the day, Stephanie.
You talked about something like you do a 7 years course and end up getting a salary of 5,000 kwacha. Does this mean that when choosing a career, the salary should be considered? Exactly.
Because you don't want to spend 60,000 and then it takes you 10 years to recover 60,000. You don't want that. It's important to consider the salary. It can even be more. So you don't want to just go into a career because you say, no, I'm passionate. No. At the end of the day, you need money to sustain your passion. All right. So all these factors must be considered. It's a comprehensive analysis. Don't just look at what you like, not just focus on the mental capabilities or your interest, but also look at the other issues.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Lusambo. It's been a good conversation.
Too sad. We are going to do it next week. Thank you so much, admin, for giving us the extra 5 minutes, which we've squandered. Stephanie.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're going to go with one thing home today, give us in the comment as we go with Stefan. Stefan, I want to appreciate you. Made a very important comment when you said we have 60,000 employed teachers. We should be able to look at the number of graduates, right? Why aren't those people coming together to make a school? That's what our school system has not done well. We've not been taught how to build businesses. And that's the difference with different course and accountants. I'm not marketing for Zika, but I'm a proud member. And I'm saying this because I've seen how Zika has put into their members, they are built to build businesses. The whole course is structured to help you build businesses, not become employees. Right? So thank you very much, Stephanie. That was an amazing point. And our people, one word as we conclude, they are saying, oh, somebody's clapping for you. I hope it's for you, Stephanie. Nobody claps for a man. Nobody claps for a man. All right.
I think it's for both of us, but thank you very much. Until next week, it's been a very beautiful conversation. We could actually build on it. It's bye for now.
Bye. Thank you so very much.